We're going to do a test together, you and me, right now. 2 questions, about 30 seconds, and I can tell you in advance that most people get the meaning of their own answer completely backwards. 3 things to stick around for. I'll tell you my own answer, which I was quite smug about until I read the research. I'll show you what happened when 59 laboratories tried to reproduce the most famous willpower experiment in psychology. And at the end, if anyone has ever told you that you lack willpower to stick to something, food or exercise or anything, we're going to deal with that properly. This one exists because one of you asked for it in the comments. Welcome back to Penguin Academy. 2 questions. Answer for an ordinary day, so not your best day and not your worst. 1. How often do you feel a strong desire or temptation that you have to actively resist? Something you want, that you've decided you shouldn't. Rarely, a few times a day, or more or less constantly. 2. When it does happen, how often do you actually win? Rarely, sometimes, or usually. So you've got a pair, something like consistently and I usually win, or rarely and when it happens I usually fold. Whatever is true, that's your answer. Now genuinely pause the video for a second and put the pair in the comments before the reveal. How often and how often you win. 2 words is fine. And no adjusting it once you found out what it means. That's cheating and I will know. Here's the picture almost everyone has of a disciplined person. And I want you to notice that you have it too. They're up at 5, they walk past the pastries. They want the pastry, of course they want the pastry. They're human, and they beat it. All day long they are in a fight, and all day long they win. Self-control, in this picture, is a quantity of fight. So, the answer you would expect from a highly disciplined person is, constantly tempted, almost always wins. If that's roughly what you put, you'd probably have been quite pleased with yourself. Hold on to that feeling for about 40 seconds. It's backwards. When researchers stopped asking people to remember their self-control and instead pinged them at random moments throughout the day to ask what they were experiencing right now, the pattern that came out was not what anybody expected. People who score highest on the trait self-control report experiencing fewer desires and fewer temptations in the first place. They are not winning more fights. They are having fewer fights. The follow-up work makes it sharper still. Trait self-control turns out to predict good habits far better than it predicts successful resistance. The people we call disciplined are, on the whole, not the people white-knuckling their way through the day. They're the people for whom the question mostly doesn't come up. So, if you answered constantly tempted, usually win, I'm sorry, but that isn't the high self-control profile. That's the profile of somebody whose life is arranged so that they have to fight all day. You may well be winning, but you are also fighting a great deal more than you need to. And rarely tempted, and when it usually happens, I'm fine. The boring answer, the answer that feels like you've got nothing interesting to say, is the one that goes with actually pulling this off. From one of the most famous experiments in modern psychology, and it's genuinely a great piece of design. 1998, Roy Baumeister, 67 students, told to skip a meal and arrive hungry. In the room, a plate of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies and a bowl of radishes. Half of the students were told to eat the cookies. The other half were told to eat the radishes and leave the cookies alone. Then everybody got the same puzzle. What nobody was told is that the puzzle was impossible. It had no solution. And the thing actually being measured is how long you'd keep trying before giving up. The cookie group lasted about 20 minutes. The radish group gave up in about 8. The conclusion was elegant. Resisting cookies had used something up. Self-control came out of a single shared tank. and once you'd spend it on one thing, you had less for the next. They called it ego depletion, and by 2007, there was a mechanism attached. Glucose. Willpower is a muscle. The muscle runs on sugar. If you've ever heard that decision fatigue is why judges give harsher sentences before lunch, or that you should do your hardest work first thing because your willpower is fresh, or that a sugary drink can top up your self-control, this is where it all comes from. One plate of cookies, 67 students, and about 25 years of industry. My answer was constantly tempted, usually win, and I was pleased with that. I read it as a report on my character. Look at all this discipline, holding the line from morning to night. But it isn't a report on my character. It's a report on my kitchen. It's a description of a person who keeps the biscuits at eye level and then congratulates himself every time he walks past them. Every one of these little victories is evidence of a fight I set up myself and could have simply not have set up before. That's the least flattering thing I've had to say about myself on this channel, but it's also the most useful one. Now, if you have been on YouTube for a long time, it's time for a hydration break. Please get some water, pause the video, and I'll see you back soon. Now for the part where we break this test open. The cookie experiment with 67 students, one lab, one afternoon, published in 1998, cited tens of thousands of times. In the 2010s, people started checking it, and this is one of the largest checks psychology has ever run. In 2016, 23 laboratories, all running the same pre-registered protocol, everybody agreeing on the method before collecting a single data point, so nobody can adjust the analysis afterwards to find something, with 2,141 participants. They found an effect of 0.04. For skill, the original effect was around 0.6. The confidence interval ran from minus 0.07 to plus 0.15, meaning the data are entirely consistent with the effect being 0 or very slightly negative. The statistics favored nothing is happening here by about 4 to 1. In 2021, they did it again, but bigger, using a version of the paradigm that Baumeister himself signed off on in advance. So nobody could say the replicators had used the wrong recipe. 36 laboratories, 3,531 participants. 0.06, not statistically significant. The statistics again favored nothing. And the back catalog, a separate analysis, corrected the existing published literature for publication bias, for the fact that studies finding an effect get published and studies finding nothing sit in a drawer. Corrected, the effects drop from about 0.6 to approximately 0. 59 laboratories, 5,672 people, and they meant essentially nothing. Now, when a finding this big falls over, there is usually a rescue, a modified version that saves the interesting part. This one is lovely, and I badly wanted it to be true. In 2016, Veronica Job, Carol Dweck, and Gregory Walton proposed that depletion is real but conditional. It only happens to people who believe willpower is a limited resource. Believe your willpower is limited and it behaves as though it is. Believe it isn't and you don't deplete. Your theory about yourself becomes true about yourself. Beautiful, right? I was going to build this whole episode around it. Then I checked whether it replicates. A pre-registered replication published in 2023 with 187 participants, 3 times the original sample, found neither the depletion effect nor the mindset moderation. The interaction terms came out at p 0.78 and p 0.41, nowhere near. And when they counted up the studies that had properly tested the idea, 13 qualifying studies, 5 supporting it and 8 failing to find it, with the failures concentrated among the pre-registered ones. which is a pattern you see when an effect is mostly an artifact of flexible analysis. So there was no consolation prize. We don't get to keep the nice version. Now the bit I was asked for, and I want to be careful with it, because this is where psychology gets used to make people feel terrible about themselves. If you have ever been told by a person, a program, or an app, or the voice in your own head that the reason you didn't stick to something around food or exercise is that you lack willpower, then understand what has just happened in this video. Willpower as a fuel tank is the model that collapsed. You need more willpower is not a scientific claim. It stopped being one about a decade ago. And there is a second finding that makes it worse for the willpower story. In eating research, deliberate restraint, consciously holding yourself back, is associated with the opposite of control. Restrained eaters show more attentional pull towards food, poorer cognitive control around it, and more disinhibited eating episodes. The more the fight is running, the worse it tends to go. Which lines up exactly with what we found at the beginning of this episode. Not resisting harder, but fewer fights. I'm going to say this very plainly. I'm a person studying psychology, not a dietitian, and this episode contains no advice about what to eat. What it contains is one correction. If somebody has explained your difficulty to you as a character flaw of insufficient willpower, the evidence does not support them, and you're entitled to stop carrying that. So you are correct. Willpower isn't good for learning how to stop eating food. Here is what actually survives, because I'm not taking something away and handing you nothing back in return. Decide in advance, not in the moment. Implementation intentions. Plans in the form, if situation X happens, then I will do Y. A meta-analysis across roughly 94 studies puts the effect at 0.65, which is large and comfortably larger than anything ego depletion ever claimed. I'll exercise more does very little. If it's Tuesday and I finish dinner, then I put my shoes on, does a lot more. The reason it works is that it takes the decision out of the moment when you are least equipped to make it. Repetition, and more of it than you've been told. The famous claim is 21 days. That number comes from a 1960s health book by a plastic surgeon describing how long his patients took to get used to their own faces. It was never a study. When somebody actually measured it, 96 people tracked daily. The median time to automaticity was 66 days, with a range from 18 to 254. And the more physically demanding the behavior, the longer the end of that range it landed on. If you gave up at week 3 because it hadn't become automatic yet, you gave up at the point where nobody has. And the one this whole episode has been pointing at. Arrange it so you don't have to fight. Not because fighting is bad, but because the evidence says people who succeed are mostly not doing it. Move the thing, change the route. Make the default thing you wanted anyway. It feels like cheating, but it's an actual finding. So, for the big takeaway, after the 2 questions, 1 plate full of cookies and 59 laboratories, willpower is not a fuel tank, and it is almost certainly not a muscle that runs on sugar. The people you look at and think, I wish I had their discipline, are, on average, not out fighting you. They are just not in the fight. And I think there's something quietly cruel in the version we all inherited, because it makes every failure a failure of character. You wanted the thing, you didn't do the thing, therefore you are weak. That's a story with a villain in it, and the villain is you. The evidence doesn't support this story, and it never really did. It rested on 67 students and a plate of biscuits. So the souvenir I want you to take isn't a technique, it's a swapped question. Stop asking, how do I get more willpower? and start asking what would make this not require any. The first question has had 25 years and a whole industry, and it produced 0.04. The second one is answerable this afternoon, so do it. Here's your homework, and this one is actually very useful. You've already commented your pair. Now, pick one thing you're currently fighting daily. One, the most annoying one, and then post the if-then for it. If a specific moment, then I will, specific action. Specific moment, specific action, no goals, no aspirations. Then read 3 other people's and tell them if any of them would work on you. I'll be down there. Mine involves a cupboard. So, the famous experiment didn't replicate across 59 labs. The rescue didn't replicate either. The people who look disciplined mostly aren't fighting. And if anybody has told you that you simply lack willpower, they were quoting something that fell over long ago. This episode happened because somebody asked for it in the comments on the last video. So, if there's something you want taken apart, put it down here. I read all of them, and this is what happens when you comment them. Like and subscribe for new Penguin Psychology videos, and if the hype button is up, go on, give it a hype. It requires no willpower whatsoever.